From our previous episode, you may have started to understand the connection of mind and body and how we can apply those learning to your healing. Today, I have one of the best experts who could help expand more from the perspective of how we, as a spiritual beings, having the physical experience. Dr. Paul Drouin, he's the founder of International Quantum University for Integrative Medicine, devoted his passion and mission to integrate ancient modern science for healing. And he has practiced as an allopathic physician for many years in Montreal, Canada, and integrated many ancient modalities into his successful practice. So 20 years ago, Dr. Paul decided to teach his learning and knowledge by establishing this brilliant university. So please welcome Dr. Paul Drouin. So Dr. Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you to have me on board this morning or this afternoon. It's my pleasure, to participate to your project. And please ask me a question, and then we will go deeper in this journey. It's a long journey.
Yes.
As you said, originally I was a medical doctor, family doctor. So I was very hands-on. And then later on, I came here in America and, laid a foundation for what is today Quantum University.
Yes.
But of course, behind this little story, there is also a thinking, a purpose. So let's explore that if you like,
Yes. Well, I think this is most people, so far all the episodes that the people watching, listening, learning, they start understanding how the mind-body connect, but also there's more beyond that. We wanted to expand awareness. So come from your own story and experience as allopathic physicians, how you started, you had your own journey. And then, because all the patients come to the hospital, emergency, the rooms, and then having this emergency issues. From their perspective, the physicians, how this journey, they should be taken towards the healing, because this is what most people can connect. This is where they start usually.
Yes. So I was really hands-on. First, I done emergency medicine. And before I start my family practice, I work in Northern Canada and Quebec with the Inuit community and Native American. So I probably experienced everything. I've also, I was managing, pregnant woman. And the situation in urgence, I was there because I work as an emergency doctor at some point. And most of the time people come in a critical state. And at the emergency, sometimes it's not all the time a car accident or a dramatic situation. Sometimes they just come for a small symptom. But this is not what happened, my awakening. But of course, I was kind of, reflecting. And then when I started my family practice in the country, one day my neighbor, we were having dinner together. He said, "Oh, how lucky I am, But I have a neighbor doctor, so he can fix me in a time." So in other words, he was not talking in terms of, I can take responsibility for what I'm doing, eating or lifestyle or whatever. I have my guys just next door that can fix me. And of course, this trigger. And then when you start to practice as a family doctor, you have to deal with, very common thing. Let's say I was doing children practice, they were in the winter in Canada. You can imagine they have a lot of otitis and pharyngitis, and then the first year they come, and then the second year they have another baby, and they all going. So and at some point you say, hey, why they should not have like a soup, where everybody have their antibiotics, and then of course I start to explore other paths. From there, I start to study homeopathy. And there was very interesting years in Quebec where we had the Holistic Medical Association, where a doctor was starting to explore these alternatives, acupuncture, homeopathy, osteopathy, and so on. And of course, I was very eager of knowledge, and I started to integrate these specialties in my practice. From homeopathy to natural medicine to energetic medicine, acupuncture. I will go wherever I can to learn new approach. Yeah. And this year in 1980, there was like the conventional mainstream was not already awake of all these modality, but when it become more and more obvious, of course they were in some way disturbed, and one of the major questions was about what are you doing is not scientific. What you're doing is not teaching university. In other words, it's like you come from medical university, you have more a disease approach, and the preventive is kind of, it's not there. And then not only that, very few people understand that most of the time when the doctors say, and then this time of COVID, there was the same thing. They all of them refer to science, but the model they refer to is an outdated model that cannot grasp what we call alternative medicine. All these ancient system of healing, acupuncture, homeopathy, refer to Taoist medicine or so on. They refer to concept of chi, subtle energy, and fundamentally, medicine is not designed to understand that. Grab this because it's not in their sphere of understanding. You need to expand from a Newtonian physics model or biochemistry, old-fashioned, to a quantum model to be able to say, hey, I have a scientific ground to explain this modality. So this is what brought me later on in the United States, saying that, you know, if it's not teaching university, let's make a university. and as I grow, of course, this go at the same time, it's like you are challenged by the situation, by people that are sick, you want to help them. And then little by little, first you explore all the modality that could exist out there. But then you reach a point that you understand that it's bigger than that. Especially when you dive in the quantum physics, it's a model of healing that I call today pro-consciousness medicine. It's another word, it's another way to look at health in terms of potentiality. And this is very unique to Quantum University in some ways, where we try to redefine a medicine where we focus more on health than disease. And I could talk for hours, but it's very important for me because in some way today, we are at crossroad where no system, either Canada or United States, can afford the medicine the way it's designed. You know, a medicine only grounded on disease. You know, the whole thing become unaffordable. You know, in Canada, you know, people think it's social medicine, everything is free and it's a paradise. No, it's, you know, they have shortage of doctors. They don't have all the resource, and because even if you have a social medicine and invest in diagnostic disease, you know, you get at a point that you don't have the budget, you don't have the people, you don't have, and then you try to go to other avenue. I will not talk about this, would be too long. And here in America, it's all the same thing. You know, it's like medicine is become more and more unaffordable. You know, health insurance, I think now with this inflation already increased. So another one, we have to rethink, you know, the whole healing with a new perspective, grounded on a scientific model that is broadened by quantum physics, or this is what I call pro-consciousness medicine. So what was the initial, where we start? You know, so in other words, you think, you know, you are in your office as a medical doctor. Yeah, you challenge, you know, I had I was after a few years, when you treat otite after otite, and then you know, you get either you become a business doctor, or you search for something that he's healing, because fundamentally the core of to be a doctor is to heal. And then I could have resolved as well with homeopathy than I have with the other approach without side effect. And I was also doing my own study, keeping track of the client, you know, with arthritis, and I had in my office like a tympanometry to be sure that There is no more liquid behind. And as it goes, of course, going my practice, I was dealing with more complex case. So you start with small, but then at the end of the day, you end with you end with the whole spectrum. And then at some point, the people that will come to the office are the ones that were not healed. That is, they were at the end of the road. It's like after you're done, you went to the family doctor, with the medical approach, and then you hit chronic disease, you need degenerative disease, and not only the term cancer, and then you have been seen the whole specialist in the world. Where you go? So I had at some point I moved in a little bigger town, but 20,000 people today is like it's nothing. And then I have a holistic center where I was integrating both medicine and also these alternative medicine. This is what we call to do integrative medicine. And then when the client will come to my office, I will be able to see both sides. I will go from a quantitative point of view where they are on the chart. If they're in alarm, they're functional, they're chronic, or they disease, whatever. And then I will also look from a point of view of what I call today bioterrain. Because reflect about this is many of the disease today are chronic disease, psychosomatic disease. If you don't have a holistic approach, you can fix things. And I'm not saying medicine is not useful. No, I'm believed to integrate these two. But at some point, let's say a situation like cancer, okay? You have cured your cancer with chemotherapy. I had hundreds of clients will come back and with that fear that this will come again, because in some way they have eradicated the masses, but if you don't change your lifestyle, you don't change the belief system that previously has created the conflict associated with this thing, you still it's not healed. You understand? So, and this is why both of them, very important to integrate, enlarge the perspective of how we look at healing today, at medicine. And I think quantum medicine, quantum university, I think we are heading in that direction.
It's beautiful. Yes, that's exactly, I think, we have been talking about different episodes about where the origin, like you said, if there's a conflict has been solved, where the pattern has been solved, the lifestyle, this is where the cause of all the disease as a train that you talk about, the bio train. This is where the beauty, to me, as I discover myself, that trying to discover those trains, why you create these patterns to begin with. So this is where I think I love it, what you talk about, integration between basically you can eradicate the cancer through the chemo, surgery, the radiation. Now you gotta really resolve the conflict. Otherwise, you have a fear of repeating again, right?
Oh yes, this is what I call kind of a multi-dimensional approach. Because you have layers of information. Of course, the client come and we have been trained and educated in this context where, hey, I have this pain, can you fix me? Okay. So you start at the level of information, but then as you look at the whole perspective, looking at this, the same time, the lifestyle, the nutrition, the exercise, the conflict, the heredity, the pattern. So in other words, we add layer and layer, and from there, you develop a strategy where is this problem is more physical, or it can be addressed with something simple, or is it something that need to be more energetic, an approach that is more global or emotional. So, but if you look at the client only from a perspective of lab, chemistry, and then you have an approach that is only chemical, you miss something. So in other words, it's important to have this deeper perspective. And medicine is, because I am a medical doctor, okay, I come from medical school. I'm trained from a point of view, and that years ago, they will say, hey, don't pay attention to all what the client complained. Just look at the lab. So now just this little idea on quantum physics, the idea, the concept of entanglement. In other words, you cannot dissociate the observer from the object. You cannot dissociate the client from the healer, the patient from the doctor. So they are intertwined. So from start, you are going in a wrong direction, because you cannot dissociate both. In other words, in this entanglement, you have to realize that you need to look at the whole globality. This is where I'm not just on the layer and deny the one that is more emotional, or the one that is you cannot grasp in your scientific model. So just this entanglement between the healer and the healee changed totally the relation in medicine. And we have a brilliant student, Tracy Clark, who done her paper on this. And she proved that just from the question that you are asking, that will influence the outcome of the therapy.
Wow.
In other words, if you go first looking for disease and this kind of negative thing, and not have a kind of a knowledge about the multiple possibility of healing, then they already trap in the outcome. Let's say example, a medical doctor, is all the time looking in terms of prognosis, and when the diagnostic is done, then you are in the box, okay? And so it's very important that the doctor healer and relation of the client can understand that no, the prognosis is not fatal. You can get out of the box with what we call a leap of healing. Then Deepak Chopra spoke about this in one of his books. So as long we don't re-educate doctors, in this kind of perspective, you will have I don't want to talk about it, but the COVID, and then you will see just one way to bullet the whole thing. You come with one bullet. It's like, and medicine is good at this. So in other words, it's so important to expand, and this is what I call pro-consciousness, because it's not just coming with another recipes of vitamin replace. Sometimes people think, this medicine is replacing chemical or pharmaceutic by vitamin and herb. Yeah, it's better, but it's not just that. It's like the whole thinking. This is what we call pro-consciousness medicine.
Yes, beautiful. I love that, your explanation. I can really relate to what you just talked about. I had a patient yesterday that I haven't seen for 3 years before the COVID, and he came back with this. I can see that he was very stressed emotionally. So I dig into, okay, just tell me about what's happened in your life. And with a long story short, that he started having some recurrent infection. So that he went to the allopathic doctor, look at some image in the X-ray. They say, oh, your one side of the tonsil is bigger than the others. Then, aspect, you might potentially have a cancer. So we need to do surgery, remove the tonsil, like right away. So this is where he already starts receiving as a mental perspective, put in the box.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just came from the little regular cold that are recurring. Now you're telling me I might have a cancer, might have a surgery. So he went to a couple other opinions, and of course, other ultrasound image shows it was not that. So the doctor said, I wouldn't jump on the conclusion of a cancer or potential cancer. We just have to monitor, but we got to change the lifestyle, do the things that you need to do. That's exactly that. The healer-healee, they intertwine the relationship, supporting them, looking at the many different angles. That's exactly what pro-conscious medicine is all about.
Yeah, it's very, very nice example. Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice. First of all, listening, and this is what you've done, listening at the client, instead to already from start jump to a conclusion. And, and then not having other perspective that, hey, you have this and it's a cancer, so many things can grow in the body without being a cancer. So
Could you explain to us, Dr. Paul, the Quantum University, your teaching of downwards causation versus upwards causation? I think everybody appreciate that information.
Yeah, it's essential, and this foundation come from Dr. Amit Goswami, who is a physicist, and this is as huge. That was 300 years ago. People thought that the Earth was the center of the universe, and then Copernicus came and said, no, the sun. And then, of course, later on, it's not just the sun; it's like you're in a full universe. And at the time where we thought, oh, the Earth is flat, and then we realized that it's a sphere. So in other words, you shift totally your perception, your perspective of things. And when we say downward, upward, this is exactly what's happened. This is as huge than this, because now we start from a point of the upward is the matter. It's like everything comes from the matter. If you think, you ask the question, where is the mind? So an upward model will say, oh, the mind is the byproducts of the brain. So it doesn't make any sense. But this is what we have to explain the mind from the point of view of conventional medicine or conventional physics. So now we come from the point of view of downward. In other words, everything comes from, what we call consciousness, because when you start to scrutinize quantum physics, you understand that, everything is like an outcome of the quantum fluctuation of the field. And then when you look at the brain and the mind, and the Dr. Goswami will say both are possibility of consciousness. So you come from a source that, is intangible, and this is our reality. So when we look at ourselves, we think it's the end of the reality. No, it's nothing. It's a dot. It's 99.9% is totally intangible. And this is what we call consciousness. So when we start to look at everything from this downward causational model, we create a perspective where we can now understand the connection between the mind and the body. We understand how works subtle energy. We resolve metaphysics problems that are out there for years, centuries, that no philosopher has resolved, because they all come from either an existential point of view or suddenly. So when we add the consciousness in the whole equation, now you create this, what we call the downward causational model. And in our perspective is to shifting, from looking at the Earth that is flat, at the Earth that is round. And you think, I don't know if at this point already we are aware of the consequence of this perception, because most of the time, society adapt perspective that it sooner or later get intertwined with the society, with the religion, with the economy, with the politics, So this changing this point of view in medicine from one model to another one is radical. It's revolutionary, and there is no other way around, because as long as you still see the Earth that is flat, how far can you go with this perspective? Now we add the conscious. I'm not saying everything has been explained, but this model of understanding, grasp, the shake the whole foundation of what is medicine. And this is what, again, I come back to this pro-consciousness medicine, because this factor of consciousness we're talking about is everything. And then this will also guide the medicine we are now, from a physical model to more from a now the term biofield start to be coined in integrative medicine. A few years ago, I would see the word biofield, people, they were already saying, telling me that I'm weird, but that was almost impossible. Now, today, conventional medicine starts to accept this kind of term, meaning that, hey, we have a biofield. So medicine will start to develop strategy from the biofield, instead to try to fix things from the physical, we start to fix things, or not fixing, creating balance from the biofield, working with southern energy. By example, acupuncture already do this for centuries. They try to work on meridians, Ayurvedic medicine, homeopathy. Nobody explained this memory problems in the products, whatever. So we will start to work with approach that are from tapping, in the biofield. And this will be phenomenal. We need this shift in medicine now because, the way it's designed, of course, this vision that we have in this perspective is tied with, a lot of economic conflict and, you can imagine. So at the same, even 300 years ago, when they put Copernic in jail, to see to change the solar system, and others, how many will have to retract because that was disturbing either the religion, the politics, or economic things. So we're just at the beginning of this, and what will why it's happening now is the necessity. Yes. It's the necessity. It's like the creativity, invention. Necessity is the mother of invention. And then at some point we have to accept it because we are already we cannot afford it anymore. Yeah. So you follow what I'm saying? This, yeah. Sometimes we think it's just a metaphysical goal. No, it's not a metaphysic. It's very important. And all these leaders today, think about Dr. Lipton, Nassim also is very
singularity
in this time of perspective. Dr. Amit Goswami, Dispenza, most of them, Lipton believes of
biology of belief.
Yeah. Biology of belief is changing the whole perspective, not only of biology, but also DNA, shaking the foundation of the Darwinists, where we had a nonsense system of evolution, with no finality and so on, and one after another, Nassim with the connected universe, come with another angle, which is make the whole thing more mechanic, but still, he acknowledged this foundation of the quantum fluctuation field, but now through the relation with the protons and everything. I don't know if you initiated this, but he come also with and Dispenza what, supernatural. He run this seminar, tapping in this energy field to make spontaneous healing happen. This is fantastic, So we are on something. It's very important.
Yes, love what your quantum university, your philosophy of to really to prove to people to really understand, experience that subtle energy. We need to prove them to having this different angle of devices, the way how the subtle energy can influence the biology or physiology or biofield. So this is where that you have been proving all the students, the alumni, using all the dissociation. So this is just so much richer knowledge that coming out of that quantum university you're teaching. So we are truly appreciative, how you.
Yeah, and when I start Quantum University, I could not, and I look at it today, now we're celebrating the 20th anniversary. I could not even believe what has been manifest, okay? Because we already in 118 countries, 11,000 students, and what is not even more rewarding is to see the students, articulate these new concepts. It's like Quantum University has created a language, because many people has intuited this before, but now it's we create words to kind of embrace or explain how this thing works. And then another phenomena is like myself, what has initiated this impulse to go in this universe, creating this university, is most of the time either a trauma or something happened before. Many students come from different fields, journey, where they have been sick, or someone has been sick in the family, and they were kind of exploring other path, and then they discover Quantum University. And now we even witness, the result of these people out there, manifesting healing and helping the people with another perspective. It's fantastic, Yeah. And recently we done one with you. We call that Alumni Spotlight. We done one with George. It will be online pretty soon. And I can see this out. It's something they come and they already sick, and through this journey to studying, they learn another way to look at things, and they heal themselves. This is very rewarding. It's very rewarding. So in other words, it's like, hey, I initiate something, and now I realize this thing is even bigger than I, because it's the source, it's consciousness, and then to create this movement. I cannot be alone. It's something that has, to move along, and as people will see other healing, there was 40 years ago. You give a conference, you think you have to try to convince people. Today, it's not that hard, because you already have a community of people thinking this way. It's just like they discover that the Quantum University or healer or doctors that can apply this principle. And then, as I said, the necessity will make people not so too difficult to convince, because, this is at some point, people sometimes, most of us, at some point we may have imbalance or something to solve.
I think, you kind of well summarized this in a way. The practitioner, doctors, and healer come from a different angle. They're on journey to get to the university, becoming see the more bigger view as a pro-conscious medicine. Also, the patient perspective, they came to the point of necessity. They need to shift. There's some, okay, I went to our past doctors. Okay, here's one linear way to their approaching it, but there's some limitation to that. So as a community, as a global community, that they have this necessity shift happening as the layman terms, the biggest population. So this is where, closing the gap between the practitioner, doctors, healer, coming down from understanding the pro-conscious level medicine, then community start understanding, because they are come to the point that they need the help. Somebody can guide them. So basically, really, closing the bridge, right? Closing the gap between those two aspects. So, thank you. And so, Dr. Paul, could you give in almost, we are running out of time. So could you give us 3 good tips? People who are listening, patient goes through the journey right now. Most people who are listening, they go through different types of suffering, sickness, and disease. So what would you give the 3 simple tips from you, what they should be start doing it for them to start shifting?
Oh boy. Everyone. So the first one first, health is so precious today, it's like, and you think even I was listening yesterday, there's like movement or other way of thinking, they don't necessarily have this appreciation of this gift. It's like when you're born, you have a potential of health. Or maybe you want sometime in you, but the potential of health is already there. And it's one of the most precious gifts. You can be wealthy if you don't healthy. That's doesn't mean you cannot healthy and wealthy at the same time. That's probably the thing. But the appreciation of this gift is so important. So and I don't think you can get in the path of healing without already appreciate this gift, and also appreciate the potential that, if you're now suffering or this, the capacity of healing is there. It's not, this is, as long as there is life, this potential of health is already there. And that was made me a very successful doctor in Canada, because when someone will walk in the door, I had all the time this faith that something positive will come out of this. You know, you cannot cure everybody because some has go to different journeys. So, but you know, when from start you believe that something is possible for everyone, that was very important. The second is be how I will say this, master of your health destiny. Today, we come from a background where we have give this potential, this sovereignty or this mastering to the hands of someone else. You know, people has to get back this mastery thing, because you know, don't expect in some way that this will come from an outside medical system, because medical doctors also make mistake. You know, you cannot put you have to recoup this right of healing. And this is one of the premise in our university. The right to heal belong to everyone. But sometimes people has forget that. They have forget this tremendous, but not only potential, but they can be in charge of their master of their destiny. I'm all the time impressed with Bruce Lipton saying, hey, your gene doesn't determine your destiny, your health destiny. Your belief are. And as was saying previously, you know, the medicine of next century is the biofield, but the biofield is compound of your emotion and your belief. And you know, you can do the best diet in the world and do the best exercise, but at the end of the day, you carry this negative emotion, or you know, this anger, unforgiveness, you know, that it's counteracted. So being master of your destiny mean, of course, looking at your lifestyle, looking at you know, what are you believe, what you carry as emotion. And in the course we talk about Taoist medicine, you know, this rainbow body that is the outcome of our emotion, you know, that change during the day, you know, from red to yellow to blue. But, you know, at some point, you can be master of that. And this is the work we propose when we go on the Project Noosphere meditation. So we have a meditation called Quick Reset of the Biofield. In other words, it's like your health is in your hand. You know, it's not someone come with a bad diagnostic or the wrong DNA analysis. You can change all this, you know, it's like, and you are master of that. Don't expect that, you know, you go in the hospital, they will fix you, and you can give in their hands. Even if you go to see a holistic doctor, you know, if you see him like the guy who will fix you, no, you have to be proactive, you know, in this. And third, you know, probably, and you're probably practicing this too. You know, if you look at the treatment, the medication of whatever that is the less expensive and has the most benefit, it's meditation. There's 100 studies done now that prove that you can prevent cancer, cardiovascular, Alzheimer, depression, if with meditation. And already, you know, society pay attention to this. You know, we have heart maths, you know, with heart rate variability, people, the mindful meditation or whatever. So it's like, yeah, but people think, okay, meditation is I sit there and I'm just thinking about walking on the beach. No. You know, meditation, you look at athlete today, you know, people going to gym, you know, building muscle. Sometimes they put hours and hours a day to achieve this kind of result. Meditation is the same thing. You have to learn. It's a science. It's a science where you can transform your brain networking, your brain network. And it's a daily kind of thing. So in other words, of course, even myself, I meditate maybe for 50 years. What I see around me now, you know, this university is the outcome of my meditation. It came from deeper state of meditation where already, you know, even if now it's easier to see it, but, you know, 40 years ago, I'm sorry, but, you know, It's like you go to, like everybody, bumps and deception, but they keep going. So in other words, and there is a way to deepen your meditation. It's very important. People think any kind of meditation is better than nothing, but more deep are the state of meditation, more capacity you have to manifest. And I'm writing this in the blog too. If you go and refer my blog, either Quantum University or drpauldrouin.com, I'm talking about this. So in other words, investing every day like 20 minutes of what I call a blissful meditation, where you vision, the health potentials or whatever. So this is probably the tip. Some people like sometimes I have to. It's like the positive one, but not the negative. But sometimes people are looking all the time for shortcuts. Okay, and we have this. I don't think there is shortcut where it's not. It's I would say in health there is not. You have to look for something that is more efficient. You cannot cheat health. In other words, this is like a commitment. And in one of the meditation, I'm saying, some I'm guiding, and I say, I choose. You have to choose health. You have to choose. If you want to change the quality of your emotion or deepen your emotion, you have to choose love. You have to choose forgiveness. You have to choose determination. You have to choose wisdom. You have, and you have to feel it. In other words, it's like it's a commitment. And then let's say you don't commit, you don't take your right to heal in hands, life will take care of it. Okay, so you better choose. So make your choice. So don't let your hope of hoping that people will fix things for you. Be master of your destiny, and believe in the health potential, because everybody is born with a potential.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing and all your wisdom and knowledge. And I think truly everybody appreciate that. And so everybody who are listening or watching, please come to quantumdecoders.com/can, CAN. There's a Dr. Paul's Noosphere, the Project Noosphere meditation. The link right there. Please, I encourage you to join the global scale of meditation. Really, consciousness, the collective consciousness, we are going to change the world. Heal yourself, heal world, right? And Quantum University, Dr. Paul's blog is there. I encourage you to read amazing wisdom and informations in the quantumuniversity.com. So all the link is in the quantumdecoders.com. So